the Cedar Haven meeting 2 weeks ago, where the discussion about Cedar Haven was made. The conclusion to that discussion was to seek a proposal for a study from a firm that would look at the revenues and expenses, the Medicaid reimbursements, room and board, those sorts of things, and analyze the numbers and to a degree the operation at Cedar Haven to see where we stand in terms of saving opportunities, revenue opportunities, that sort of thing. So to that end, I spoke with Lisa Deffabaugh of Complete Healthcare Resources. They were one of the presenters in here, and they were the presenter that had mentioned that they would be willing to do that for a cost of $5,000. So I provided that proposal to you. I emailed it to each of you to go over the items that they are willing to complete for that fee. Would be review and report of all sources of revenue and expense with detailed analysis of any opportunities for improved outcomes, Medicaid and Medicare reimbursements and comparative analysis, room and board rates, bed tax assessment per Medicare day, operating expenses, wage and benefit expenses, including health insurance, pension, etc., operational expenses that may present opportunities for financial improvement through reduction or revenue enhancement, market area opportunities for specialized services, financial impact of any areas of identified opportunity, financial projections for Cedar Haven to include the impact of any anticipated reimbursement changes. They will obviously require some information from the administration down there, and they do intend to provide a complete report and presentation of the results of their study approximately 30 days from the completion of data collection, site tours, and any interviews that they deem necessary. They do have some references there: Berks County, Bradford County, and Center County.
And I'm going to call on you, Commissioner,
Surely.
to make that motion, since...
I would be honored to make that motion. I feel that I realize there have been firms that have been very generous in offering free consultations, but their goal is to sell Cedar Haven, and this firm had a broad spectrum from continuing with our current staff and offering management as a consulting, or turning to nonprofit. I mean, they had just like 5 different options. So I feel that their proposal seems like it's more in-depth, number one, and number two, wouldn't give an appearance that the goal is to sell. So I think that it's a good firm to give us an unbiased, because there's no conclusion that they've reached already, and so I think that would be a good firm to use. So therefore I'm happy to make this motion to get a cost analysis done at Cedar Haven on how to improve services and at the same time cut expenses.
Do I have a
and
second?
Increase revenue as well.
I'll be honored to second that.
Thank you.
I just, as a matter of discussion, I just want to note that that you feel strongly about doing this study, and that we allowed you to select the vendor that would do this study, and make that motion today. So I just want to have that noted. And Gordy, you have a question?
Yeah, I just, was one of the options they discussed the sale?
Yes.
Yes.
It was one of the
Yes. They had the full spectrum. Mm-hmm.
Those folks, if I don't know if you recall, they were the first, I think the first presenter we had, and they do the whole spectrum of management, leasing, all those kinds of things, so, yeah.
Yeah, I can't, to me, this doesn't make sense. I mean,
Which part doesn't make sense?
we want to sell, we want to sell off Cedar Haven, right?
No, we don't want to sell anything. We don't want to sell anything. We didn't get into office to sell Cedar Haven. This is what has been disclosed in terms of the numbers.
Yeah, but that's generally the way it's going.
Well, that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah, it's generally the way it's, okay, let's put it that, if you're going to split hairs here, okay, that's generally the way it's going. You're looking to sell off Cedar Haven, in other words, to get you out of debt. My plan, my idea was, can't you sell the jail off? It'd be a lot more popular idea.
How much of it? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, my suggestion would be this, Martin, and you're a very active citizen in this county. just as they always say, don't make a suggestion at a meeting because you might be asked to chair it. I'm gonna put you in charge of exploring that and come back and report to us what you found out about the validity of selling the prison.
Selling a jail.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
How much time do I get?
We're gonna be working on solving this budget issue, the long-term budget issue, through at least the first half of 2014, so.
May I just give you one example, Martin? The kitchen at the food service at Cedar Haven, we're looking to save $500,000 by outsourcing that. If you outsource the kitchen, the food service at the prison, the average daily cost for feeding a prisoner is $1.53 a day for all 3 meals. So the answer is that's why nobody's rushing to buy or do the food service at a prison. And the how much do you think it costs to run Cedar Haven a year?
It says here someplace.
Well, it's 27. It's almost
Yeah.
$30 million.
Right.
The prison is 7, whatever. I mean, there's just there's no margin. We are $20 a day cheaper than Franklin County to run our prison. So there is no, magic bullet that's going to change this equation of coming up with a way of solving the pension, or at least putting a dent in it and stopping the transfer of funds to supporting something that we don't have to run, that someone may run better than we can, another vendor.
Okay.
And this is all conjecture at this point, because we just agreed to do a study to see if there's enough money there to be saved. But
Let me ask you a question, Phillips. Some morning down the road, you wake up and you had a stroke. You can't help yourself anymore. Family don't know what to do with you because they can't take care of you.
right.
Where are you going to end up?
Well, there are 12 nursing homes in Lebanon County.
Yeah, you're going to go to Cornwall Manor or Spangcrest. I'm going to Cedar Haven. That's why I'm worried. You see what I'm saying? Not so much coming down to a class struggle. You and Ames aren't going to Cedar Haven. I guarantee it. You're going to Cornwall Manor or Spangcrest or someplace like that. That's why I want to
God
keep
bless
Cedar
us
Haven.
all. I hope we none of those are where we end up.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
I don't know that.
It's your
Right.
Yeah.
But aside from that, if it comes to the sale of Cedar Haven, here's how I look at it, Martin, and I don't expect you to agree with me. But I think the sale of Cedar Haven is the way to perpetuate Cedar Haven and have it be there as a viable place for folks like you or Commissioner Phillips or I to go in our final years. And the folks that are in the business of owning and managing long-term care facilities like that do a far better job than the government does, and they know how to cut costs, they do it efficiently, and they have to accept, and we would stipulate that they have to accept Medicare and Medicaid patients as well as those that may have the ability to pay.
It's not your fault. You didn't create all this.
You're right there.
I know. I've been here. I've seen it. And I will give Joellen, over the years, she wanted to contribute X amount to that pension fund, and she
Thank
got
you, Mark.
voted down.
Thank you,
I
Mark.
sat here and watched it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's not your fault. I'm not blaming you. You're in a bad spot.
I've said this before. I'm prepared to make the difficult decisions that we have to make because I don't want to see this county in the financial stress that it's under now going forward. So Commissioner Litz did want to say something in response or in agreement or whatever with your comments.
I just wanted to say that I want to make it perfectly clear that our staff at Cedar Haven is second to none. It is a desirable location for people to go. They actually choose to go to Cedar Haven. I think that our staff is second to none down there, and I can't say enough good about them. Does that mean there aren't some ways that maybe, just like at EMA, we got a consultant and they pointed out some ways we could get reimbursed better, and we're saving $500,000. And that's what I'm hoping to accomplish with this study at Cedar Haven, is to find those cost-saving mechanisms. But that doesn't mean the staff isn't capable of doing the work or that they're not. That I think they're great.
Well, I don't think you'll get arguments here on that account. So, and I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
There was a sale of another building in town this last year that I stood up and said, I don't think it should be sold. And I was the only, well, not the only person, but the only vocal person to say that. I saw value there. I see value here. I think Cedar Haven is an asset, and I do not want to get rid of it.
All those in favor of going forward with the study for Cedar Haven indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I have one other suggestion.
Thank you.
It may or may not. I know Commissioner Litz did not want to commission one of the folks that made free studies available for the reason that their goal may be to sell Cedar Haven. But if someone else would like to make the motion, I would suggest that at no cost we avail ourselves of a few of those just to put side by side with the study that we're paying for. And I don't know if I have a motion to do that or not.
And I think what prompted your thinking here is there was an email yesterday from another of the presenters that said that they would be willing to do a comparative study of
It's not going to be apples and apples.
homes in the region, both owned and private, or formerly owned by counties. The nature of that would be different than this one, and this is my caution to you is the invasiveness or the upsetting of the operation if you have a lot of studies parading through, at one time. What was proposed in the email you got yesterday was from a distance kind of a comparison.
This one's more in depth.
It would really take all of the financials of a number of homes throughout the region and say, here's where you rank, and here's.
Well, it was just a thought.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any interest on
I'm only
part of the
cautioning
other
about the.
commissioners or not.
Well, what was your, I may be able to go along with it if there's
That we avail ourselves of the, perhaps a few of the groups that we had in, of their free studies that they will do, and we could stipulate that we could at least talk to Ed out there as to, whether or not he would be agreeable if they wanted to come in and actually study
I
it.
guess I wouldn't mind one
Additional.
but I wouldn't necessarily want to have too many. I mean, this is not I thought the goal of this thing was to have somebody take a good in-depth look and uncover expenses that could be saved down there too. So, I mean, that if that's going to help in that quest, but if Jamie would.
Could another opinion hurt, I guess? And it's not a big deal. I know
But they're
you
not
don't-
apples and apples, that's the only thing.
Okay. You making a motion?
I'll move that.
Do I have a second?
I'm digesting this. Let me second it and have a moment. Are they going to be done simultaneously or one at a time? That is a question.
I wouldn't see why they would be done one at a time. It could be done simultaneously. The financials would have to be, I'm going to have to ask Gary Lehman to gather financials for the CHR study. It wouldn't be anything to just say,
Here's the
here's
financials for
here's
the
the
other
same
company.
packet. I think the difference between the two being that Griffin Financial proposes to gather that from other sources and make comparisons, but not necessarily go in. I don't have it in front of me. I read it yesterday, but
How did you arrive at Griffin Financial versus the guy yesterday that offered, and I think there was another one offered?
they emailed yesterday morning. I had sent it out, within a couple hours.
They had read in
coming
the paper.
Yeah, but
and they
some
were willing
some
to
had,
do it.
like the guy yesterday offered. How do you choose between the ones that offered to do it for free? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, I understand
Well,
the question.
From your perspective, the guy yesterday was definitely all about selling Cedar Haven. So, I mean, would you want him to do a study?
Well, I think Griffin's group was too.
But the numbers are going to say, they're not going to be biased, they're going to be black and white, non-nebulous numbers, right? I mean, I was just trying to take advantage of a free study
Right, an offer.
with additional information. I don't really care which one does it. I think the
And that's my intent too. I mean, if it's at,
Does
and
it-
I know they all have an agenda, every one of
They
them has
do.
an agenda, I understand that.
And does it give the perception then that you are leaning towards using that group if you decide to sell?
Not at all. I don't think so, no.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I don't even remember the group, to be honest with you. I would have to go back. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain on this one because I don't have all the proposals in front of me to compare what the different ones were offering when they were saying they were going to do free studies to know if this is the best one.
Motion carries 2 aye, 1 abstention.
I think I missed this, the cost analysis study, was there an expectation on when that would be completed?
30 days, they said within
It is
30 days.
you were right.
After they get out of the building, I think.
After they get the data they need, which I don't think is gonna take very long. I'll let them know today to proceed, and then they'll give us a list of what they need.